My name is Riley.
I'm Fiona.
I'm Charlotte.
And I'm Zeta.
And we're from McAuliffe International. McAuliffe International is a 6th to 8th grade middle school, and we take an architecture or design class in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. We are in advanced green architecture, and this year for advanced green architecture, we decided to participate in the SchoolsNEXT Design Challenge. So when we started out by looking at the deliverables and kind of figuring out where we were and what we needed to do. And as a result, we decided we should probably split up into teams because it'd be easier to get the work done if we weren't all working on the same thing at once. So we split up into the documentation team, who was in charge of making the video and writing the 850-word narrative, and then the design team, the design and research team that was in charge of actually modeling the school in Revit and doing research on the sustainable things that they wanted to incorporate. And then we had community outreach who helped us decide on the aspects that we needed to add into our school. I think one of the biggest requests on the survey we put out was that we add more water fountains and that we add more windows. So they were in charge of incorporating all of that. And then community outreach kind of ran out of things to do about halfway through the process. And then we split into 3 separate sub-teams, one for the interior design, one for the poster that was a deliverable, and one for the model. For the poster, we wanted to find a way to document our process while showing both our struggles and our successes. So that meant we had to be kind of selective in choosing our documents. And so we started out, for each team, we decided it would be best to show the process if we showed their design cycle plan first. So we got one of the design cycle plans from each of the teams. And then we added in the bubble diagrams that started to come out of, okay, so here is where we are, let's start drafting. And then about halfway through the process, after the video team had planned out what they wanted, they started writing the narrative and actually doing the filming. Community outreach was kind of in between tasks at this point, and so they had already switched out, so we had to pick one document from each of the sub-teams, I think. I think we chose daily logs for our documentation of that. And then in the end, we ended up with a 3 to 5 minute video, a physical model, and a really beautiful Revit model. And now for the video.
I'd say to create a Revit model.
To create a 3 to 5 minute video and an 850-word narrative.
I've learned how to speak with architects who are professionals in that field, and I've enjoyed listening to them speak with our class.
I enjoyed the takeaways and I learned how to collaborate with others.
I learned a lot about what goes into making a school and what sustainable features are needed to go into making a school, and I thought it was really fun. It was a great learning experience.
I've enjoyed working with other people and learning about building models and sustainable design. I was introduced to a whole new world of sustainable learning.
The guest speakers opened up my intellectual mind.
Eye-opening.
Interactive.
Memorable.
Insightful.
Fun.
challenging,
inspiring,
Adventurous.
This is the school that we designed in Revit. This is the Revit model, and it's based off of our design cycle. So as you can see, it's divided into 4 separate buildings, all relating back to this cycle, which is 4 different phases, and these are the phases we followed to create our school. The shape of our building is also a circle, which we really wanted to connect our school to be inclusive and kind of have all the students be involved. And we figured that a circle is the most inclusive shape because there are no corners or edges or anything like that. So we decided to connect it to both the circle and our design cycle. Like we said in the video, we had 3 guiding principles other than the 2 I just mentioned for our school. The first of which is freedom. We don't want our students to feel trapped within our school. We really want them to feel like they have a choice in what they do and where they do it.
Our second guiding principle is growth, because we want our students to grow in knowledge and in responsibilities as the environment around them does the same.
And our third and final principle was connection to nature, because we felt that our students didn't have enough connection to nature in their school environment, so we wanted to make sure that we would incorporate it in our new design.
Okay, so I was a member of the physical model team, and I just wanted to share with you a little bit about the 3 or 4 most important exterior features of our design. Alright, so first before that, I wanted to share a little bit about the struggles in communication my team, the physical model team, had the design and research team. Often they would do something without telling us, and this would lead to errors in the physical model, or we would do something without telling them, which would again lead to errors in our model. And so both of our teams really had to learn how to not only communicate in general, but also do that clearly and precisely. On the cafeteria building, we have a rooftop garden. Throughout the school year, each student would be assigned a plant to take care of and nurture, and as that plant would grow, the student will also grow in height and in their learning. Then we have our outdoor courtyard, which connects to free will or freedom, because the students can eat outside, they can study, they can hang out, but basically they have the freedom to do whatever they want out there. And then to connect to nature, our team spent a lot of time making all of this surrounding nature, because like in the survey that we sent to students, most students really wanted more nature in the school, and so we really wanted to make sure our school was surrounded by nature. And then it's not showed on the model, but over here is Lake Chatfield, because we wanted to be close to some sort of water feature so that students could experiment with hydropower as well as the lake's unique ecosystem. Okay, so we have 4 buildings: the cafeteria, the recreation building, classroom 1, and classroom 2, and then our soccer field. And in addition to that student survey that we sent out, we also sent out a teacher survey. Most of the teachers mentioned that they wanted some sort of outdoor place to teach their students. And so that is another reason we incorporated the classroom. Just like in the design cycle, we needed some way to connect each building to the others. So we have bridges connecting on the second floor of each building, as well as a staircase in the courtyard.
For the interior of each classroom, we are going to be talking about the color choices and how they connect to each of our guiding principles. Each room's choices in the design and in the different fabrics we use, and how that makes it both modern and kind of a traditional school at the same time. The sustainable choices we use in our school, and the feeling of our school.
So in our school, we selected different sustainable ideas that we would like to incorporate in our design. So the first major one that we didn't get a chance to model on our physical model was the solar panels, so that we could conserve energy and help out the environment. We also, in the teacher and student survey, they both said that they wanted more windows, and this also connects to a sustainable idea so that we don't have to waste more electricity and hurt the environment. As Charlotte mentioned before, we did include a garden roof. This is another one of the sustainable ideas we got from our research. And we also have one other sustainable idea, which was turning off the lights. Another part of the aspect of our school design is that we have 4 separate buildings, so that when we're not using buildings during the nighttime or during school, we could turn off the electricity in the other buildings to conserve energy. So our first building is the cafeteria building, and there are many sustainable ideas and connections to freedom and growth in this specific building. In this building, we have more of a community area for the cafeteria and more of like classrooms, so that the students have the freedom to move around freely in this big floor. We also, on this specific building, we included the cafeteria, the garden roof, so that we could use it for compost and cycling out through the environment.
For our cafeteria building, we decided to use these darker floors because we figured most schools nowadays have kind of white tiling and are lighter on the inside, and so we decided to kind of change it up and make our school a little different.
Our second building was the recreation building. We really took pride in this building because this was our main community space. The recreation building will not only be used by our students on the week, but also by the community on the weekends. In this specific building, there is a space in the front of the building before you get into the locker rooms to change, where there are couches placed and different areas for teachers and students to learn, as well as more windows so that the students can be more connected to nature and light.
So within our recreation building, we really wanted our gym to be pretty traditional, so we used the silver bleachers and the just kind of plain wood floor that's lighter. But in our locker rooms, we really wanted our students to feel like it was kind of their place, and they wanted to be comfortable in there. So we decided to use some very colorful curtains, the oranges kind of connecting to the outdoors and sunshine, and the blue more water for each of the locker rooms.
Our second to last building was the classroom building. In this building, there were a specific amount of classrooms and office spaces that we included for the teachers. In the teacher survey, they said that they wanted more space for planning and communicating with each other so that they weren't getting confused with their lessons. So we provided practically a whole floor for them. We have office spacing in teachers' offices right here. We have the nurse's office right here for her space. And we have more of like a counseling community room right here to connect more with growth and freedom.
So within the classroom buildings, we decided to connect all of the paint colors to the outdoors to really incorporate our connection to nature aspect of our school. So the orangish color really symbolizes the dirt and the earth. The lemon drop is the sun. This green is like plants and grass in the environment. The blue is water, because water is an essential of life. And the white, instead of symbolizing part of nature, we decided to symbolize our students' purity.
For our fourth and final building, this was the main student area. We decided to incorporate a really open area for all the students to learn. With not only the hallways, there are traditional lockers usually in there, but we wanted to open that up a little more, and we provided more windows so that they could see into the hallways and see into the other classrooms and be more connected with their fellow students. We included multiple science classrooms, language arts classrooms, and electives classrooms so that the students would have more freedom in their class selection. And we also included the library for community space, and this whole wall right here is windows so they can be more connected with light and nature.
And in this classroom building, that's where the library is located, and we decided to have this kind of natural looking wood in the library and a blue carpet to kind of make it feel like you're not in a shared space. We felt that that was kind of a fresh sort of feeling. And this is also the wood that we'll be using in the auditorium with this red curtain to kind of make it a traditional auditorium. So our school name is Golden Peak Middle School. golden peak is kind of to represent the mountains and Colorado's history and its geography, because there's a lot of mountains and we're in Denver, located very close to the Rocky Mountains, so we decided to connect it to that. And the golden part comes from gold and how gold is a part of Colorado's history, and there was a lot of gold mining when Colorado was first being settled, and also gold is a precious metal and our students are precious and the learning they're doing is precious.
Okay, we just want to say a huge thanks to all of the mentors who came in and helped us, and especially to our teacher, Miss Cook, for getting our creative juices flowing and aiding us in the creation of what you see before you. I speak on behalf of our class when I say that we are so proud of how our Revit model, video,